And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Awful Goodness this lovely Sunday. I'm your host, Condor Jez, and we have a little thing to do. But first, let me introduce my. Well, I am technically the co-host. So here's the original host next to me, Mr. Midnight.
Hold on. Hey, I have to go take a look at Rumble because it may not be rolling.
Okay,
I'll
check
take
that
care of it.
because that's one of our announcements that we are now streaming on Rumble. So
Well, maybe. maybe not. Let's see what happens. Hang on.
We are
All right, well-
fantasizing with the idea of being streaming on Rumble.
Well,
Isn't that enough?
if we
Should
ever
be
get it
enough.
fixed, we are streaming on Rumble now, and hopefully, you will find our lost videos on the Rumbles now. And below me is my absolute fat ass pig, Ebi Canales.
Oink oink, motherfuckers.
Yeah, what's going on with you, Mr. Hogboy, while we wait for Midnight to fix our problem?
Well,
Keep going.
Rumble.
I'm gonna work.
yeah,
Right.
I just came back from hanging out with my mom, getting drunk with her because that's a thing that I do. I get shit faced with my mom. We drink a lot of whiskey and smoke cigars and shit on everything and everyone in existence. I think it's pretty healthy, and I don't know, it's family time.
Yeah.
I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, I wish I could do that. I still gotta finish off. I still gotta polish off my bottle of white rum here. I just
Cool.
haven't. Maybe I'll toss the remains in with the ginger ale that I got for my.
I'm actually a gin aficionado. I give it a try. Beefeater and Coke, and I think
Okay.
it's a great combination. What's up, Polo?
Yep, our porch goose of the night, Paulo Costa. Howdy, howdy.
Hola.
Okay, so today, for our this is relevant. We have a little activity today. So we have a secret word today. It's relevant. So if any of you hear the secret word that's on your screen, you gotta scream.
Say it.
That was
Say
good.
it.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty classy.
But yeah, so remember, kids who's watching a show, if you ever hear any of us say the secret word that's on the screen, gotta scream. Or just like go ha like that.
So I gotta say, in my defense, I don't know if that's a defense, but Pee Wee Herman was never a thing in Spain. Like, I think Tim Burton only became popular after Beetlejuice, and then of course Batman. But yeah, I don't think Pee Wee Herman was a thing in basically all of Europe.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get to Pee Wee Herman in a little bit, but first we got to talk about this one. Came from left field. Too bad I don't have like a little bell by me, but Mark Margulies, aka Hector Salamanca, dies at 83.
Also, the guy that drives Tony Montana even crazier than usual. I think that was like his
he was
first
in.
fame, right?
Oh right, he was in Scarface.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do a rewatch now.
He was actually a much better Spanish speaker than Al Pacino. I actually thought he was Hispanic in the movie.
Okay. I think Mark, judging by the last name, I think he's part of the Nose tribe. I might have to check and see if he fails the early life test. But anyways,
Definitely plays one in Pi, which is probably the only movie by Darren Aronofsky that I can stomach.
So Mark Margulies, famous for being Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, died at age 83. He died at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City following a short illness, confirmed according to a statement from his son, Morgan. He was nominated for an Emmy in 2012 for Breaking Bad for Outstanding Guest Actor. As Salamanca, the elderly don of his drug clan who was unable to speak or walk due to stroke. And if y'all recall, he would ring his little bell, go ding, 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 ding.
I never actually watched Breaking Bad. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You have to. And Agent Elvis.
Agent Elvis is great. This is true.
Okay. And the backstory played out much more on Better Call Saul. So from the Breaking Bad Twitter, X, whatever, says, we joined the millions of fans in mourning the passing of the immensely talented Mark Margulies, who, with his eyes about and very few words, turned Hector Salamanca into one of the most unforgettable characters in the history of television. He will be missed. He, as we stated before, he was known in the films of Darren Aronofsky, notably Noah, Black Swan, The Wrestler. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And like the fat one said, Pie. He also played Alberto, the Shadow, in Scarface.
Yes.
And he was also in The Thomas Crown Affair, Gone Baby Gone, and Stand Up Guys. So he was born in Philadelphia.
He's basically that guy. You know, you've seen him in like a billion things, and you instantly recognize him. Like, oh, it's that guy.
You know, now when I look at him, I get him confused with Burt Young from the Rocky movies.
Yeah, there's a Burt Young thing going on. Yeah, that's have that. Like, I mean, he's one of those old school character actors that they all have. They all look. I like them because they all look like regular guys you can run into on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like Burt Young looks like the guy who works at a corner bakery, and this guy is like, I don't know, he's like a janitor at your apartment building. Like they're really normal, and that's why I like them.
Okay.
So I am trying to figure out how to get StreamYard. Ooh, maybe it did it. No, it didn't. I'm trying to figure out how to get StreamYard to refresh the RTMP stream.
Okay.
Or allow me to edit it.
American man.
What?
He wants you to explain the RTMP.
I really don't.
Yeah, I can't. No. The point is I'm trying to figure out how to get Rumble to refresh through StreamYard, and I don't know how to do that. So we can either continue going and accept that Rumble may or may not happen, or we can start a new stream.
I'm cool with whatever.
I think we'll just keep continuing on. Sorry,
Okay.
Pete. Next time.
By the way, Midnight,
we will
you
have
sound
the
like
dual Rumble and YouTube stream because we already.
By the way, Midnight, you sound really breathy or windy or something. Like there's like.
Oh, I have a fan on. Hang on, I can fix that.
All right.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so we were talking about Mark Margulies died. If you want to put your
I can still hear
2 cents in.
I don't have much of an opinion. Like, okay, he was pretty good as that awful old dude. I was happy to see him die in the show, but I have no idea what kind of a person he is, so I'm relatively neutral on whether or not he should have died in real life.
All right. But yeah, Margulies was born in Philadelphia and then studied acting in New York City with noted acting teacher Stella Adler. And then he did like a bunch of off-Broadway shows. And he was also on Broadway. He is survived by his wife of 61 years, Jacqueline, and his son Morgan, who is the CEO of Knitting Factory Entertainment. And
Oh,
they're gonna
really?
have
He's the CEO of Knitting Factory Entertainment?
yeah.
That's interesting.
I've never heard it.
The Knitting Factory is like, how would I put it? It's like New York's. It's related to CBGBs and Danceteria and like that sort of that scene. It's very much deeply culturally embedded in New York, like subculture.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of it before.
It's Knitting Factory is very much parallel to CBGBs. And whether you know about it or not decides whether or not you're actually punk rock.
Well, I guess I'm not punk rock. Even though I do enjoy the music, I'm too square looking for the punk scene. Like, you won't see me with like the spiked hair and the leather studded jacket. Okay.
Excuse me.
Next on our passings of note. Dang it, where did it go? Ah, there it is. Paul Rubens, actor best known as Pee Wee Herman, died at 70.
So, how old was he? 70.
He was 70. So for those who don't remember, he was known as the star Pee Wee Herman, which I used to watch the reruns like every Saturday morning on CBS whenever I'd stay over at my grandma's house.
I watched that show at first run. I saw before Pee Wee Herman. I saw actually I think we watched the movie. I want to say it was Up in Smoke. His first like big like media appearance was in a Cheech and Chong movie. I think it was Up in Smoke.
No, he was in the next movie.
Okay, he was in the next movie. And then he did a special, like a 1 hour comedy special or something like that. That was like an early version of Pee Wee's Playhouse. That's good, but it's much more like adult oriented. Like there's way more double entendre in it.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on HBO.
Excuse me. It may have been an HBO special. And then he got Pee Wee's Playhouse. And I have my suspicion. Well, what do you want to read the article and we'll learn about Pee Wee's life in times and travails, and then I'll comment on.
Did you also see Pee Wee's Big Adventure? I remember watching that all the time.
I saw it in theater.
Yes, because you are old.
Shut the fuck up.
Tell me, did this scene where he's in hell and they dip the bike in the lava scare you too, or not so much?
No. Large Marge scared me more than anything else.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen the movie because, as I said, Pee Wee Herman was never really a thing in Spain. But I've seen that particular scene, and holy fuck! I mean, if I had seen that as a kid, I would have completely, absolutely shit my pants.
Well, to be honest, I was saying that actually the Large Marge bit was based off of the one in the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah. The movie's worth watching. The show doesn't really stand, like, you're not going to enjoy it as an adult watching it. If you watch it in first runs, like, even if you didn't, there's nothing really for you to get there. But when I saw the movie, I was confused as to why it wasn't the show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one of the reasons why it wasn't the show is because Pee Wee cut out Phil Hartman.
Oh.
Yeah, he did Phil Hartman dirty. And when he got the movie offer, he cut Phil Hartman out so that he could take sole proprietorship of Pee Wee, or however it was contracted.
We also, I think everyone else knows that Lawrence Fishburne was also Cowboy Curtis.
That is correct.
And Midnight, Miss Yvonne. Yay or nay?
I mean, as a kid, probably thought she was pretty, but there was always something weird about her. Like she was more like she was supposed to be the most beautiful woman in the world or something like that. Well,
I think she was like the most beautiful woman in the world, but the thing is, like, she was supposed to act like the ditzy 50, 60 era beauty queen, I guess.
But she came off more as that weird older lady who was stuck in her youth. You know what I mean? There was always something really creepy about Miss Yvonne. Like she was older, like she looked older, and she looked like she was trying to act younger and wearing way too much makeup, and had that one hairdo that like she got re-upped every couple of months. You know what I mean? Like she seemed like maybe she lived off cat food. There was definitely something weird about Miss Yvonne. And just thinking that got me started and thinking, like, what if Pee Wee's Playhouse is actually like the shared delusion of mental patients?
Maybe I'll have to go back and watch the old episodes, but so
I mean, I liked the show when I was a kid. It was fun when I was a kid, but it's definitely
I know.
It doesn't stand up as an adult.
I like the whole like 50s, 60s kitsch googie vibe. That's what I liked about it. So actor Paul Reubens, who came to fame as Pee Wee Herman, died years after a cancer diagnosis. I have a little bit of doubts on that. His team said Monday he was 70 years old. So he bravely and privately fought cancers for a year with his trademark tenacity and wit, a gifted and prolific talent. He will forever live in the comedy pantheon in our hearts and treasured friend, and a man of remarkable character and generosity of spirit. And here he is with Chubby the Genie, who died like maybe a couple years ago too, John Paragon. So we didn't know he had cancer until today. Kind of, I think he hit it like Norm Macdonald did.
Wasn't this guy on a more negative note? Wasn't he embroiled in like minor sex abuse?
We're getting to it, but first, Robert Stringfellow wants to know what our Rumble channel is.
It's under Midnight in Exile, but you are most likely not going to see it tonight. We can't get the stream to stream.
We have we have other videos like our Europa review if you want to see that.
I forgot that there's some setup involved, so that whatever. We'll try it again next weekend. It may work. But I can't see a way to refresh the send.
It's the same name, right? Midnight in Exile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I can't find a way to refresh the send to Rumble from StreamYard. So
hopefully we'll get that fixed by next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, just look for Midnight in Exile all together on Rumble. So the announcement of his death included a personal statement from the actor explaining why he kept his medical condition under wraps. Please bear with my Pee-wee Herman. Please accept my apology for not going public for what I've been facing for the last 6 years. I have always felt a huge amount of love and respect from my friends, fans, and supporters. I have loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you. So Rubens became Pee-wee Herman, and which started as a stage play, and then he got the biggest break was in the 1985 movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure, helmed by Tim Burton. Now let's see. And then Pee-wee's Big Adventure led to Pee-wee's Playhouse. And here's where we get to the good part. But Rubens' rise to fame was halted in 1991 after he pleaded no contest to indecent exposure at a porn theater in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, that's not as serious as I thought. He was probably just jerking off at a porn film, and someone said, "Hey, let's be weird, man. Let's become famous by reporting him."
I mean, what are you supposed to do in a porn theater?
So here's I have a couple of hypotheses about this. One, first of all, Pee-wee was rich at that point, so if he wanted pornography, he could get it, right? Like it was during there was VHS at that point. The TVs may have been CRT, but he could have still gotten a large CRT screen or a fucking projection screen, which would have been the more like he could have owned a projector with a screen. That would have been the more economic choice on his part. So if he wanted to watch pornography and have himself some enjoyment, there was less than zero reason for him to do it at a theater. Right?
I mean, maybe he had the urge to just go to a theater, or maybe it was a theater exclusive.
Come on, I got to teach you to be more critical. He wasn't there to see easily obtained pornography. Okay? My hypothesis is that it was a gay porn theater. He was there, and he was there to try and hook up, and he got picked up in a sting.
Which leads to my hypothesis that he didn't actually have cancer. He had the gay cancer, so to speak.
I think I mean, living to 70 with the gay cancer is still quite an achievement. But I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that there's a good chance that he had the grids.
Yep.
And I think that they did him dirty, by the way. I think that someone, like, he was set up to be caught.
But then in 2004, Rubens was sentenced to 3 years probation after pleading guilty to a misdemeanor obscenity charge involving photographs of minors engaged in sexual conduct that were seized from him.
I think that this may have been a setup as well. There was talk about him having video, and he said that one of the videos that he had was Rob Lowe's sex tape. And I think that the girl, if I remember correctly, the girl in that was a minor. She was like 16. I may be wrong about that. But that was something that was being passed around quite a bit. I don't know. I'm neutral on whether or not he actually had pizza. But I think he was set up.
I think he also said that he had like some kitsch type photos, which were probably maybe nude little angel babies or something like that, like those cherubs.
Yeah, that's possible, and it's possible that that was selective enforcement, which would play into my hypothesis that it was a setup.
1 second, I gotta plug in my computer. Okay. But yeah, kind of a shame. I mean, granted, he was a bit of an odd duck, but was he a ped? I doubt it.
Possibly. I mean, possibly. He made his money pretending to be a little kid. Like, Pee-wee Herman is an infantilized adult. So it's very possible.
I mean, he worked
Whether
in
or not he
movies,
was, I
so-
do think he was set up to be caught.
Yeah. So other roles we may have remember Paul Rubenson. He returned to the big screen as the Penguin's father in Batman Returns. And then he was also in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer film.
And incidentally, in the 2015, I think one of the last seasons of Gotham, the TV show, which is like a sort of prequel slash Elseworlds for Batman, he also plays the Penguin's father, which is I thought it was a nice nod.
And he was in Blow. He played the gay drug dealer.
Well, method acting, anyone?
I remember him. My favorite movie that I loved him in was he was the Spleen from Mystery Men.
Mystery Men. Yeah, fucking Spleen.
Who was cursed by a gypsy woman after I blamed a fart on her. And then she said to me, "Whoever smelt it shall forever dealt it." And then his farts are like super powered.
Ugh.
Sorry, I love a good fart joke. Okay. And he also hosted the You Don't Know Jack, which morphed into the Jackbox games on Discord.
So wait, he was doing You Don't Know Jack on Discord?
No, You Don't Know Jack started as a television TV game show, and then the creators kind of morphed it into like an online video game that you can play, that I used to play with a bunch of my friends on Discord.
And Pee-wee was the host of the game?
Discord. Yeah.
On Discord or on TV?
Not on Discord, on TV.
Okay, that's the part I didn't understand.
Yeah,
I have an idea of what that game is, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, didn't you hear me say like they took the game from the television and made it into like a online game?
Yeah, but I don't know anything about it.
Basically it's like a bunch of games that you play. Like there's like a drawing Pictionary game. I'll try to find you some clips after this show. Where were we? He was also a member of the Groundlings in the 1970s and 80s, where he created Pee Wee Herman.
Yep.
And then let's see. Condolences. Jimmy Kimmel said Paul Rubens was like no one else, a brilliant and original comedian who made the kids their parents laugh at the same time. Conan O'Brien recalled the magic, generosity, artistry, and devout silliness of Paul Rubens. And then Natasha Lyonne from Orange is the New Black was a child actor on Pee-wee's Playhouse, and she said, "Love you so much, Paul. One in all time. Thank you for my career and your forever friendship all these years, and for teaching us what a true original is." So, R.I.P. Pee-wee.
F in the chat for Pee-wee.
Yep. And as Robert Stringfield says, grid. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably had the gay cancer.
I mean, not necessarily, but it sure does seem to be a probability.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Holocaust, the dark Pee-wee mugshot. Let me find that quick. Yep. Yep, this infamous this infamous mugshot where he's kind of channeling Nick Cage from Con Air.
Con Air, yeah. I see it.
And then there was also him where he was wearing glasses.
Yeah, you can tell that he was trying to not be identified in public.
It can be both Nicolas Cage and fucking what's his name? Aju Malkovich too. I think he can be several characters of Conan actually.
Oh, John Malkovich, what Cyrus the Virus, I think he was
Iron
called.
the Virus Grissom, whom by the way has one of the badassest villain themes of the 90s.
Oh, I think the top one is from his 2004 arrest, even though it's small. Oh, there it is. Yep. Here's the one where he got busted in 2004. But still, RIP. Our next story, that's the hottest rage on the news. Trump hit with sweeping indictment in alleged effort to overturn 2020 election. And it's the third time.
As people are appropriately excuse me. As people are appropriately pointing out, Hillary spent the entire 4 years of his presidency trying to do.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think third time is the charm? Who knows? So,
I mean, in a sane world, in a sane world, I would say no because he actually didn't say anything. Like he didn't do anything out of like legality. He said, "I think this is bullshit. Like I want to recount."
It's like anyone who's been through a divorce understands what's happening to Trump. Women were told no, and now they're doing everything they can to destroy the person who told them no. That's what they do.
Well, Democrats think like women, so yeah, what the fuck,
yeah,
feminized.
I mean, Democrats are mostly made up of women, so.
And men.
It was her turn. It was her turn. We'll get you.
Women-minded men. Or feminized men, we should call them.
Male Democrats have no balls.
Former President Donald Trump bent on sting. Well, this is from ABC News, so there's an obvious slant. Bent on staying in power, undertook a criminal scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 election, including repeatedly pushing lies about the results, despite knowing his claims were false, and doubling down on those falsehoods as the January 6th raged. We have something about that later. A sweeping federal indictment alleged. This is the third indictment. Who, as the Republican frontrunner, continues of the next race, continues to insist that the vote was rigged. Prosecutors say that the alleged scheme, which involved 6 unnamed co-conspirators, enlisted something called fake electors targeting several states. And they used the Justice Department to conduct sham election crime investigations and trying to enlist the vice president, aka Mike Electric Fence Pence, to alter the election result in order to stay in power. The alleged co-conspirators included several attorneys and a Justice Department official.
Oh, so they're going. I'm sure they're going after what's her name, Sydney something.
Yeah, they're probably going to go after Sidney Powell.
Sidney Powell, yeah. Michael Lindell. Lin Wood, yeah, they're going after Lin Wood for sure.
Yeah. So the indictment, based on the investigation by Special Counsel Jack Smith, charges Trump with 4 felony counts, which are conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. It also alleges that Trump knew that the claims he advanced about the election, specifically in Arizona and Georgia, were false, yet he repeated them for months. But don't we have video from the Georgia election of people bringing in the ballot boxes?
Haven't they been? Didn't they say for years that Bush got elected because there were some election shenanigans in Florida?
Yes, the hanging chads.
So what? Are we gonna arrest someone
Okay.
because of that?
Let me
We're gonna arrest anyone for that, right?
give a quick rundown for all the little youngins in the in the watching us. So back in the 2000 presidential race between Al Gore, super serial guys, and George W. Bush, Florida at the time used like a punch card system for their voting machines. And sometimes what happens if you had like a punching mechanism, they don't punch all the way through. So someone maybe maybe tried to punch like one hole, but then punched another, and then it got all confusing because they were all like these half punch holes, and it was a mess. And I was 10.
I wonder if that wasn't an early attempt. Like, I wonder if they didn't try to rig the election for Gore, and they just failed. Because that's the thing about cheating. Cheating isn't a thing that you necessarily succeed at or do effectively enough to win. You can fail at cheating. That's how Trump won 2016. They failed at cheating because they didn't realize he was going to take as many votes as he did. Whenever people like, oh, yeah, they cheated. Well, they didn't do a good job of cheating because they lost in 2016. Okay, that doesn't mean they didn't cheat. Like, you can fail at cheating.
Also, night, Paulo. Sleep tight. Don't let
Have
the
a good
bed
night,
bugs
Paulo
bite.
Costa.
Yeah, get some rest. You can rest. I can't. So I'm trapped here. These two maniacs. Some help.
Complain.
Call the UN. I'm a hostage.
No. Shush you. It also highlights Trump's alleged pressure to campaign on his own vice president, Mike Pence, alleging that he asked Pence during Christmas Day phone call to reject the electoral votes on January 6th. That he told on Pence on, and then he told Pence on January 1st that he was too honest and that he lied to Pence about election fraud to get him to accept a slate of fake electors. I need your Canales, I need your Trump voice.
All right. Bottom line, won every state by hundreds of thousands of votes.
And then this
We
one.
won every state.
Very good, thank you.
That's a crime now? Saying that is a crime?
Yeah.
Existing. Having a pulse. If Trump has a pulse, that's a crime to them.
Yeah,
These aren't people who understand what laws are.
It's a personal. They just hate him.
They understand only getting what they want or not. That's all they understand.
It's like when you deal with these anti-CGD people, you're dealing with the same maniac. Yeah. They will come up with 1,000 excuses why you are a bad person, but they really don't know shit about you. They just hate you because they've been trained to hate you. So they will like, oh yeah, remember when your boy Zach had a street fight in 1999 and then got arrested? Well, like, wow, it was terrible. Shut up.
Which is funny because all they have to do is point out how CG acts just like them now. But then that would require admitting how they behave.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that not true?
Despite having lost, the defendant was determined to remain in power, the indictment reads. So for more than 2 months following Election Day on November 3rd, 2020, the defendant spread lies that they had been outcome determinative fraud in the election and that he had actually won. These claims were false, and the defendant knew they were false, but the defendant repeatedly and widely disseminated them anyway to make his knowingly false claims appear legitimate, create an intense national atmosphere of mistrust and anger, and erode public faith in the administration of the election. And then Trump spoke to ABC News just after the indictment was sealed, called the new charges as a pile-on. Canels, I need you again, please.
It's election interference. Doing very well in the polls. And I believe he will defeat President Biden in 2024. Well, I admire Trump's optimism. Gotta say.
And then here's the weasel that's prosecuting him, the special counsel Jack Smith.
That's exactly how you expect him to look, doesn't it?
Yep.
You just need a pair of like big rim glasses.
Ugh.
Well, Pence, who is currently challenging Trump for the 2020 nomination, said in a statement on Friday, "Our country is more important than one man. Our Constitution is more important than anyone's man career." Oh man, way to throw him under the bus.
I'll tell you what, man. I have yet to see any reason to believe in God, but that fly on Trump's head sure was a warning.
Pence's head, you mean, right?
Yeah. Did I say Trump?
Yeah, you said Trump.
Yeah, you said Trump. Trump. You meant Pence.
I meant Pence. The fly that was on Pence's head in that interview, man, that was a signal. There's no way that wasn't a signal.
Are you saying that he's an? Oh, so are you saying that he's an agent of Beelzebub?
I was thinking Beelzebub.
Lord of the Flies, people are.
Like Alex Jones says, Mike Pence, like Hillary Clinton, is an agent of Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies.
Sure seems that way.
I think this guy's more into Moloch.
Blah blah blah.
They strike me more as a Moloch type.
Well, Moloch, you know who Moloch rules. It's a court, man. It's like it's an imperial system. They have to work together sometimes.
Right. It's like the Avengers of assholes.
Yeah.
That's one way of looking at it.
So to finish this off, the Trump campaign, responding to the indictment on Trump's Truth Social platform, said the lawlessness of these persecutions of President Trump and his supporters is reminiscent of Nazi Germany in the 1930s, the former Soviet Union, and other authoritarian dictatorial regimes. President Trump has always followed the law and the Constitution with advice from many highly accomplished attorneys.
Yes, and that's why he's being prosecuted, because he is going up against people who don't give a fuck about the law and the Constitution. I mean, you're probably too young to remember. You remember back in 2020 when they locked up everyone inside their homes and kept them from working and told them that they couldn't walk into a bar if they hadn't taken an experimental treatment. Remember those days? And how that was absolutely...
I'd rather not.
It wasn't yesterday, so I don't remember anything.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same. I've been so preoccupied with Barbie and Oppenheimer that I don't remember anything. How they fucking raped all my fucking human rights in the ass.
Barbenheimer.
It's funny how little of a shit I give about Barbie or Oppenheimer. Yeah, I don't care about either of those movies.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of like over movies. Like I don't give a fuck. I go to the theater and all I see is bullshit because I know everyone involved in it is a fucking asshole, lying to their teeth, a fucking hypocrite. You know, like they kind of burst the bubble for me.
But hey guys, speaking of Oppenheimer, today is Hiroshima Day
Good, good.
when we dropped the first bomb. Yeah.
Back
So our
when the
next
when the
story
United
for
States still had balls. Remember that days? Remember those days?
yeah, yep.
No.
When my great grandpa stormed the beaches of Normandy.
My great grandpa was shot by fascists and thrown into a well because he was the leader of an anarchist cell in Spain.
Our next story is more than 440 reporters lose press passes after the
Nobody's
White
gonna
House
say
changes
anything about it.
requirements.
Damn it. Okay. Let's jump into the next story. I thought it was interesting.
I
Okay,
don't.
quick, tell your story about your grandpa getting
No,
thrown into
I
the
already
well.
did. I already
Great
did.
grandpa
But
thrown into the well.
I only provoked an uncomfortable silence here. What it was like. Let's stop. No.
Wait, is
It's
this
because
the grandpa we're
it's
naming our future child after?
I actually don't know what his name was,
Oh,
but it may have been Ramon because it's my dad's second name is Luis Ramon. Huh. Perhaps
uh,
I have to ask him.
yes, because our son's first name was going to be Ramon after one of your grandpas,
Mm,
great
so,
grandpas.
either that or Motormaster because I always liked Motormaster.
No, it's Ramon Hiram after
Motormaster Canales.
what you totally forgot about Kenshiro now?
Oh, shit, you're right. I guess we'll have to have two.
Goodness.
Ramon Hiram and Kenshiro Motormaster. Kenshiro Motormaster Canales. Holy fuck! It rolls right out of the tongue.
I don't know.
We'll have
I
to
don't know. I don't
we'll
know if
have
you
to
can
settle this
I
with
don't
a
know if you
knife
could
fight.
get more than I don't know if you can get more than one child out of me. But anyways, at
We'll have
least
to settle this
400
dispute Spanish style with a knife fight.
At least
Proceed.
442 reporters have lost their credentials since the White House press office changed its rules for journalists to be eligible for permanent passes, according to reports. The White House announced updated standards for yearly renewal of hard passes in May, which probably means that no more deucey deuces. No
I
more
mean, that's
deucey.
pretty much the entire. Whenever that's why they did this, pretty much to get rid of Peter Ducey.
Yeah, so no more deucey deuces on Miss Muppet over here.
Fucking cowards.
They announced the updated hard passes in May, and journalists who do not obtain the hard passes can still apply for the day pass. So, Peter Ducey, do your thing. Try to get a day pass at least. Politico reported that the number of credentialed White House correspondents dropped from 1,417 to 975 after the passes expired July 31st, with the new number reflecting a mix of renewals and new applications. Let's see. The White House told Politico that only one reporter had their application for a new hard pass denied. God, I hope it wasn't Peter Ducey. The hundreds who lost their passes this week presumably did not reapply, some due to not meeting the new qualifications. Let's see. Let's see. Those who are losing their hard passes get a grace period until August 10th to keep their current passes and submit their materials to new ones. So the White House press office announced their updated standards in an email sent to all White House hard pass holders in May, with the guidelines for journalists to successfully renew their hard passes. They have to show full-time employment with an organization whose principal business is news dissemination, have a physical address in the Washington, D.C. area, and demonstrate they have accessed the White House campus at least once during the prior 6 months for work, or have proof of employment within the last 3 months for the White House.
Yeah, this is trying to keep out independent journalists. This is trying to keep out, like, people who might just run a small website and don't live in DC.
Basically, it's a big club and you're not in it.
That's basically what they're doing.
Additionally, hard pass seekers need to show that they have an assignment to cover or provide technical support in covering the White House on a regular basis and have accreditation by a press gallery either in the U.S. Senate, U.S. House of Representatives, or Supreme Court. Lastly, applicants must be willing to submit
State approved media only is what those rules are meant to get through to you.
Yeah.
State approved media only.
And lastly, applicants must be willing to submit to any necessary investigation by the U.S. Secret Service to determine eligibility for access to the White House complex. The notice also said passes will be revoked under the new rules if a journalist doesn't act in a professional manner, with written warnings for violators followed by suspensions and bans for repeat offenders.
That means no questioning the fucking retard at the podium.
Let's see. When the updated guidelines were announced, today's News Africa's Simon Ateba blasted the White House press office, accusing it of targeting him with the new requirements. Ateba, a reporter known for confronting White House press secretary and Muppet Karine
God, that lady's so
Jean-Pierre
fucking stupid. That
during
lady's so
briefings
fucking
tweeted at the
stupid.
time, breaking, the White House is changing the rules for press hard passes to target me. But I will qualify for all those things as we just filed our taxes, are registered with the District of Columbia, and have our address in DC. I studied journalism in college, received 2 degrees, and have only worked as a journalist and trained countless people. I also attended briefings religiously and do not have a second job. Very unnatural approach.
And you eat that
He
poop.
added, "It is crazy what is going on. How can a guy come from Africa and you have to change the rules because of him?" So,
Well.
what did Biden say about people with a lot of melanin in their system?
I think he called them super predators.
Right?
Doesn't he have a picture with one of the KKK, like one high-ranking KKK member?
I don't.
Oh, Hillary?
remember.
Joe Biden as well, and also didn't he say something like he didn't want black kids going to white schools, mixing up with white kids because that would be a jungle, something like that?
So it's probably Senator Robert Byrd that
Yes.
any politician in politics, when Byrd was a senator, can be found in pictures with, like, surprise.
Okay.
And I don't know about the school mixing thing, but Biden is part of the reason why the word super predator in reference to black people is a thing in the U.S.
Wasn't Strom Thurmond like a KKK guy too, or was it just Robert Byrd?
Maybe. I don't know about Strom Thurmond.
Well, all I know is that Strom Thurmond had a African daughter. But yeah, a White House spokesperson justified the changes, saying, "At the time we initiated this process in early May, roughly 40% of hard pass holders had not accessed the White House complex in the prior 40 days. We think this demonstrates we've led a thoughtful and thorough process that preserves robust media access to the campus for everyone who needs it, whether it be with a hard pass or a day pass." And then he snorted and pushed his glasses up his greasy nose. And of course, Fox News tried to reach out to the White House press office, but they didn't get an answer. It's happening, boys. State media.
Well. Welcome to Europe. Exactly what you guys didn't want to be. We're gonna
And
be
Beater
more.
Boy, get over here. Come stream with
Get
us.
over here. That's my scorpion impression. That's the chain. Get over here.
And now,
Fatality.
according to Edward Sazal,
Oh,
turns out Gonzalo Lira, aka Coach Red Pill, did not make it past the Ukrainian border. This Troon will tell us. Back that shit up. I'm sorry I have to subject you guys to this horrifying vision you see on your screen.
There's a reason you haven't heard from Gonzalo Lira yet with his so-called attempts at asylum in Hungary. It's because the state security services, better known as the SBU, are some of the most talented and focused law enforcement agents across the globe. And in doing so, they knew where Gonzalo Lira. There's a reason you haven't heard from Gonzalo.
I don't know why it cut off so weird, but
Do you want to?
gentlemen,
Is there more? Is there more? It looked like there was more to that. Is there more to that?
let me see. No.
No, the video. So it's really funny that a Troon and Troons never stop pissing and moaning about my human rights. It's really funny that a Troon is so gleeful about stamping on the human rights of a person. Almost as if they don't mean that shit at all.
well,
There is no
always
peace
say
to be
that
had with that person.
No, I always say that it's odd how human rights and the greater good always translate as selfish egotistical benefits. You know, like they never ask for human rights for other people. They never ask for human rights when it results in
Well, that's-
other people having power over them. It's always them having power over other people. You know.
That's not entirely true. They will demand human rights for, like, you know, because they think that they own black people. They're like, oh, human rights for black people. But they don't mean it when those black people disagree with them. And that's where the cutoff happens. If you disagree with them about anything, they want, Sam Hyde said it best. They want you broken, homeless, and dead and your kids raped. You better fucking figure it out. Because what happened to Gonzalo Lira, like, here's the thing about Gonzalo Lira. I thought the Coach Red Pill bit was fucking cringe. It was really cringe. Like, I'm gonna give young men advice, dude. That's gay. Stop that.
And don't
But
forget like his toothpicks in the lock or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was pretty gay. Yeah, that was definitely pretty gay. But like his Ukraine commentary was very, very even-handed and I thought accurate, and that's why they want him shut down. Well, and you know, maybe he did escape. We don't know for sure, but this Troon would cut his heart out with his own hands.
And I mean,
for making accurate political analysis videos.
And I've said this before, but did you think Gonzalo, Coach Red Pill, whatever you want to call him, ever imagine in his life that he would find his end at the hands of corrupt Slavs and Troons?
That poor son of a bitch. I feel so bad for him.
But then again, he didn't. He shouldn't have posted that he was going to a border checkpoint.
Well, the idea, media. I think that he posted it on a delay so that he would have gone through the checkpoint before it went up. But that was stupid because he was within Ukraine borders, which means that, and his phone probably went through a Ukrainian cell phone company. Even if it didn't, it went through Ukrainian cell towers. So they could have been watching him every second of the way, and they could have watched that video the moment that it hit the data stream. You know, he would have had to have uploaded it before he crossed the checkpoint. So it was kind of stupid. He should have waited until he got through. But then at the same time, if he tried to get through and it didn't work and he didn't do what he did, there would be no final testament to the world. So I don't know, man.
And looking through here's our troon who allegedly captured Gonzalo Lira. His name is Sarah Ashton Cirillo. Gonzalo
His name
Lira
is fucking Joe Cockface.
But yeah, Gonzalo
I
Lira.
would say that they always call themselves that. They always call themselves
Dude,
Magdalene.
the dudes, have you like troon dudes always fucking try to name themselves like strippers and porn stars.
Like Lexi
And, like,
or Sasha.
Yeah. And troon chicks always try to name themselves after fucking folk music artists. Like Ashton and Dylan and Holden and Isaac. They're all trying to be the same fucking person.
That's something that I've discussed a lot. None of they don't transition to other cultures and other times concept of the opposite sex. They always transition to what we now consider to be a woman or a man. You know, it's almost as if it's not really an alternative personality. It's almost as if it's a disorder.
It's an autogynephilic fixation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
And here's poor Gonzalo being raided by the troons.
It's funny how these defund the police guys always clap like fucking seals when their enemies get taken down by men with guns in uniforms. Right?
They don't use words to describe, they use words to manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
So none of the words that they say mean anything. They just either get results or not.
Also,
they have no principles. These are people without principles.
Yeah. I didn't know that Gonzalo Lira was a U.S. citizen. I thought he was from Chile.
I knew he had Chilean citizenship. I did not know for sure that he had U.S. citizenship. I'm pretty sure I knew that he lived here for a while.
Yeah, but yeah, U.S. citizen currently in prison for speaking out against the Zelensky regime. Here's the troon, who is the world's foremost war correspondent, testified against him.
He offended me, and he should get the death penalty for offending me.
Oh, I think this is him before he trooned.
Jesus Christ.
So he's Obama
you can see
fan.
Why he trooned.
It's pretending to be one thing didn't work, so I chose to pretend to be another thing. And there's a reason why that other thing works.
And his legal name is Michael.
Have you guys seen that meme? It's like which way Western man? One of them is a really, like you're fat and ugly, and one of them is a really buff guy, and the other one is Gorlok the Destroyer, this fat troon that got popular in whatever show, you know?
Oh yeah, like, yeah.
When you're a fat dude, when you're a fat ugly dude, you have two choices. You can work out, you can train hard, and change yourself, or you can become a troon, and everybody will call you beautiful.
Oh man, but boy, Gorlok the Destroyer is not going to end well. You do not want to be Gorlok, man.
I mean, which one of them doesn't end well though? Like
that dude cries himself to sleep every single night.
Yes, because they think
and he probably does a lot of drugs.
They think they want to be the opposite sex. I've said this several times. I've discussed this with my dad actually. We always talk about this and we're like, doesn't this shit remind you of all the people that tell you, I want to be a kickboxer? I really want to be a kickboxer because I've seen a Van Damme movie. And they come to the gym, they get a real taste of what kickboxing is, which entails like training really hard and getting your fucking face punched in regularly. They're like, yeah, I don't think this is how I picture it to be. It's the same thing. I want to be a woman, really? Then they become women. They're like, oh shit, this is not what I want. What am I gonna do now? Am I gonna go back? I'm just gonna keep pretending and try hard not to fucking delete myself because of the fucking massive mistake that I made.
I can guarantee you that if Shark Week went along with the transition, the number would be more than halved. Like I may dab on women a lot because they behave fucking atrociously, but I don't want to deal with just Shark Week alone, man. That's rough. I don't want that.
I always
Well,
thought just that. That's the
it's
one thing that makes me
terrible.
happy of being a dude. Like not having to
Yeah.
go through that every fucking month, you know?
Yeah, there's nothing like if that's part of the deal. I'm okay. You can keep that deal. I guarantee you that like the majority of people going down that road right now, if they necessarily had to have Shark Week, and including these ones that are pretending to have Shark Week because they shit their pants or something, like
Yeah, they fucking put
the
like
majority of them would be out.
iced tomato juice cubes in their asses and shit like that.
Mhm.
Boy, I'm glad I already ate dinner.
My
So,
apologies.
so also, the troon that caught Coach Red Pill also like posed as a Republican operative in Nevada who claimed to garner support for Republican candidates. Then
That
did this
guy,
without apology. Yeah.
He's not going to be thrilled if he actually sees kinetic experiences.
Mm-hmm.
He will scream like
And
a
then
little
in
bitch.
2020, he befriended Republican candidate for Attorney General Sigal Chattah, and then leaked text from the candidate comparing incumbent AG Aaron D. Ford to the leader of Hamas, torpedoing Chattah's campaign. And then, oh god, this. Take a good look. This is the troon that sold out Gonzalo Lira.
And remember,
Holy
children,
shit.
if it's got an apple,
There's a
it's
lot
got
of work
a
been done
banana.
on that picture. There's a lot of work been done on that picture.
Holy shit.
And then again,
Yeah.
let's see. He's been able to balance medic and propagandist duties seamlessly, constantly providing social media updates on the conflict from the Ukrainian perspective and providing updates to media outlets and U.S. politicians, but still found the time to testify against a fellow U.S. citizen.
I mean, that right there should get citizenship revoked.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be allowed back in this country for that.
But he's fighting for Ukraine. Poor widow Ukraine.
He's fighting to keep that place a center for human trafficking so he can get at the boy flesh.
Like Adonis
he's
Paul
there.
says, this is a bug.
Yep.
Kill the bug.
I'm from Buenos Aires.
Every time he uses that clip, I have to chuckle because in reality, Buenos Aires, the actual Buenos Aires, is filled with fags and troons.
Yeah, at the time, Brazil. I think that might have to do with like
Argentina.
Brazil had. Was it Argentina? Oh yeah, right.
Argentina. Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Did Argentina have Renamo? What was the group that didn't Argentina have like death squads?
Yeah, back in the 70s.
I mean, they did have a dictatorship, so I guess that squads were pretty common back then.
Yeah,
I think that's where that comes from.
There was a dirty board too. But if I recall, Robert Heinlein might have wrote Starship Troopers back in the 50s when Perón was still in control.
I think I haven't read the novel. I've only heard bits of the audiobook. So I'm retarded and can really read comic books. But I think in the original, Johnny Rico is actually Filipino. It's like
that would make a lot of sense.
That's the thing. Like that's why they have like Spanish like sounding name because the original
Pinoys.
Yeah, the Pinoys.
Well, all I know is that my one dream, if I ever move to Argentina, is to buy a green Ford Falcon from the 1970s, get a list of all the former like commies, then do the slow drive by.
Don't let that plan out.
So you basically wanna be like a right wing Mossad thing. I mean, if the
Nah,
Mossad was
I
more
got better
right-wing,
plans. I got better plans. Don't worry, Midnight.
I won't say no to that.
It's a diversion. In other good news,
I wish to
the
know
evil has been defeated.
more.
Feminist Frequently in Anita Skankezian is done. No more. Unless she decides to raise her ugly shrieking harpy head in some other endeavor, but
I
probably
gotta wonder how the fuck she makes rent. Like,
grift.
I mean, but even now, like, how is she? What's her income right now? You know?
Here's my theory.
Fuck if I know. I don't
This is my
care.
theory. You guys know that the CIA doesn't train people as much as they just recruit people with certain
Yeah,
abilities. Just like they
I
recruited
don't.
Gloria Steinem in campus, you know?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't think that you're crazy for thinking that.
Because suddenly she walks around with a fucking bodyguard squad and gets interviews on like every major talk show, like Stephen Colbert, and Stephen Colbert isn't allowed to like really put her feet to the fire and shit. So
A day of that kind of security will cost more than most of us make in a year. So
I mean, if I mean didn't they call, like, they interviewed Zach, right? This fucking Australian guy, Jim Jeffries interviewed Zach. Did Zach go to the fucking interview with a private security squad? I don't think so.
no, of course not. He had no security.
As this chick is around with a fucking bodyguard squad, and
Yeah.
and it's like prime time, and nobody is allowed to ask her any like hard questions. Those fucking softballs. So I'm just saying, that's my theory.
And she also famously once freaked the fuck out because Sargon of Akkad,
Oh yeah,
he
the
just
garbage person.
sat in on like a panel she was hosting, and then she was like, get out, get the fuck out. And
No, not
Sargon's
really. I
just
don't
sitting there
think-
like, I just came to learn something. And
I don't think
she
it was
kept-
like that. She just like threw like a passive aggressive remark at Sargon, calling him like a garbage person, but never really naming him.
Uh-huh.
And everybody
yeah, I think
everybody knew
that
that
was-
she was talking about him. Like he was like just laughing and shrugging, like, this fuck is gonna insult me in front of everyone.
But anyways,
Narcissist gonna narcissism.
Just because they are ideologues and they know what they're doing doesn't mean they don't have some kind of disorder. Because I think one thing leads to another. You know, just like psychopaths make good hitmen and shit like that. Or like, I think Anita's like probably sociopathic or something like that.
Yeah, she's gotta
The
be.
way the way she lies with a straight face, like, you gotta have a talent for that.
but yeah, shall I read her diatribe?
Not really.
Yeah, we
Uh,
don't really
Nobody
wanna
gives a
listen
fuck
to
what
that.
Anita Sarkeesian has to say.
Yeah, words.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty
Ding
much what
dong,
it
the
is.
witch is dead. Who cares?
I'm just saying, put some heavy steel chains around her sarcophagus and an original Duke Nukem CD on top of it, so she won't come out again. You know, gotta be sure, but it's better safe than sorry.
But anyway, need to stop saying that. So from Real Robert on X, Twitter, who knows? We have an interview from Tucker Carlson where the Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund called the January 6th events a cover-up. This particular interview was hidden by Fox News, so just crank this back and begin and good and
I actually had to
play.
go and talk to a friend of mine on one of the oversight committees saying, I will come there in person. I want to be there. I want to testify. So I'm glad you think I'm reserved. I'm, to be honest with you, I'm a little pissed off because this have to happen. If people were reporting the intelligence correctly, if I was allowed to do my job as the chief, I got a significant experience. If I was allowed to do my job as the chief, we wouldn't be here today. This didn't happen. Then see how you're out there, you're lambasted in public, and it's all everything appears to be a cover-up. Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but when you look at the information the intelligence that it had, military had, it's all watered down. I'm not getting intelligence. I'm denied support National Guard in advance. I'm denied National Guard while we're under attack for 71 minutes. You're in a fight?
Yeah.
A fight for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, 1 minute.
You out.
1 minute.
I was going to say 60 seconds, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, it wears you out. My officers were fighting for 80 minutes before the protesters ever broke.
Wait, can I say, so you described this as a failure to get the intelligence to the people who needed it, but it sounds like worse than, it sounds like they were hiding the intelligence.
And that's what I'm getting at is, could there possibly be people that actually did something to happen and kind of wanted something to happen? It's not a far stretch to begin.
Well, I don't know what the other explanation is.
It's sad when you start putting everything together and thinking about the way this played out. It gets concerning. What was their end goal? You look at what's happening. Was that their end goal? I don't know.
So thoughts?
I mean, he's saying what we all knew was the truth all along.
That it was a cover-up. The left is just blowing everything out of proportion, and then we have these guys like the actual police chief saying that he couldn't get the help that he needed.
I mean, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because we've heard, I don't know, doctors, scientists.
I actually had to go and talk to a friend of mine on one of the oversight.
Contradict what the mainstream media says, and it doesn't fucking matter. Like God Himself could descend from the heavens right now and tell Democrats they're wrong. It wouldn't matter because they're like, facts and all that shit. Nah, just they run on emotion, not facts.
Yeah, but do you think that these so-called leftists who don't believe in God, they're probably going to call like a hoax?
I mean, they are religious. They just not the way normal people are. They're in a cult.
They will say, "Oh, my science."
Yeah, it's like, there's probably more scientific evidence pointing towards like intelligent design. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get into that discussion, but their point is, I can see it, I can touch it, I can't imagine it, so it doesn't exist. That's the point.
Minate, do you have anything else to add before we go on to the next one?
Talking about God.
I mean, what else is there to add? Everything that we've said happened is what happened. Like it for everything. This isn't the only thing we've been right about.
I mean, we've seen the video footage, and the so-called rioters were pretty damn civil for rioters compared to the other protesters in like Waukesha and Minnesota.
Yeah. And that was also allowed to happen intentionally.
But speaking of Pray Fauci, from BenQ, we have a Pfizer officials confirmed at a Senate hearing in Australia that the company's employees were given a special batch of vaccines different to the ones that they were provided to the public.
were they the same type of vaccine? Do we have a like a screenshot for that? Because I'm not seeing anything. Do your job, man.
Wait.
All right.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Brain fart. I thought I hit the sharing button, but I guess it did. But yes, Pfizer officials confirm at a Senate hearing in Australia that they got one batch of vaccines, and the other ones were the ones that kill were given to the public. So look at these two ass clowns. These are the people needed to be raked over an open fire. There we go.
Read that your vaccine mandate was using your own batch of vaccine, especially imported for Pfizer, which was not tested by the TGA. Is that correct?
Senator, so Pfizer undertook to import a batch of vaccine specifically for the employee vaccination program.
Read that your vaccine mandate was using your own batch of vaccine, especially imported for Pfizer, which was not tested by the TGA. Is that correct?
Senator, so Pfizer undertook to import a batch of vaccine specifically for the employee vaccination program.
These elitists will do whatever the fuck they want to us until we motivate them not to. The French were right.
Didn't you Americans have guns for this sort of shit?
Well, that's Australia, but I mean, all these corporatists did it, so. And by the way, there's a reason why they took the guns away from the Australians. Yep. This video is a good example.
Mm-hmm. Partly was the Port Arthur massacre when this kid allegedly fired a bunch of weapons.
That's no reason to take guns away from everybody else. That's the Port Arthur massacre is what they call an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
They make up a lot of those.
I want to highlight this comment by Eyes Wide Open or at Can of Whoop Ass. Yes, Pfizer imported saline vaccine for our employees so they wouldn't get vax injuries. Then anything else? And where's the TF? Where the fuck is the FDA and the CDC? They were together in this. They were compliant, as you would say, midnight.
Or complicit, even.
That is the purpose. That is what was going on. They were all working together. Ironically, you know the definition of government working with industry to do things that the government can't get away with? You know what the term for that is?
I know leftists love to use that.
What is it?
Yeah. Fascism. Definitively, that's fascism.
The unholy merger of corporations and government to impose things upon people. That's fascism.
This is interesting. These here are the 7 batches reserved for the Pfizer employees. And this is the log of like all the ones that caused problems in the picture. And this Chicky Leaks.
It's too small for me to make anything out on. What are the implications?
Okay. Here we go. So let's see. This one is search Pfizer. Oh, this is just a screenshot, but I think these are the batches that were sent out to the public. But the ones in the post here were the ones reserved for the Pfizer employees.
Right, I understand that. What are the implications?
as I said,
If you don't know, say I don't know. What I understand that. What do those two data sets mean when compared against one another?
One gave all the clot shots to the normal people, while these ones are probably like saline shots or some other thing that doesn't affect the Pfizer employees.
Are you saying that those batches don't appear on a problematic list?
Yes.
Okay, we got to get better at getting the things that are in our head out of our mouth.
Yeah. They also say that on the information that we have available, which is restricted, we must conclude that that the contaminated batches led to deaths which were not investigated and the contamination was ignored. And then they didn't know anything about the novel gene technology, according to this affidavit from the Australian Government Department of Health. It says right here under decision, I am unable to continue to process your request because the documents you have requested do not exist. And the ones listed involve mRNA or microRNA sequences and all that stuff related to the vaccines. So they got the good stuff, we get the shit.
I mean, it's possible that it is possible that they just got saline.
I mean, it's really telling that for some reason they would want to give their employees a different batch than they were given to the normal
It's
people.
a lot like those politicians that were in Flint, Michigan, and they were like, all right, everybody, let's take a sip of the Flint water. And they all fucking badly pretended to take a sip of the Flint water.
Mm-hmm. I think they did something similar in like the Aaron Brockovich movie.
When they do things like this, it means that they know what they're doing to us. That's the thing. When they do things like this, it means they know what they're doing to us. Remember that when the time comes. Don't show them any mercy. They didn't show us any.
Oh, I'm all out of mercy, believe me.
Yeah. I'm all out of fucking bubblegum.
All right. Our last story of the day from my neck of the woods. Soccer player killed by crocodile while cooling off in Costa Rican river. This gentleman here, Jesus Chucho Alberto Lopez Ortiz. A small town in Costa Rica is reeling after a local soccer player was killed by a crocodile on Saturday when he jumped into a river to cool off after exercising. Jesus Chucho Alberto. What?
Am I wrong to be completely unsurprised that anybody was eaten by a fucking reptile in a Costa Rican river?
Not at all.
I think it's weird when something with scales or too many legs doesn't kill you in South America.
Yeah.
Yep. Jesus Chucho Alberto Lopez Ortiz was only 29 years old when he died, and he leaves behind a wife and two children, Darian and Ethan.
That's probably Ethan. I don't know. Just, yeah, South American.
No, it's Ethan.
South American
Ethan. Yeah.
South Americans naming their kids, it's always a conundrum. Sorry, no offense.
Yeah. According to a statement from his soccer team, Deportivo Rio Cañas.
Well, that's fucking sad though. So I think the chat that's.
Yeah. He was only 4 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So the
Gone too
young man
soon,
jumped into
eaten
the
by a fucking
Cañas River
beast.
near the town of Santa Cruz to bathe, according to his coach, despite the river being a known habitat for crocodiles.
Yeah. I don't know why people. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it is tragic. Don't get me wrong, but like, it's Costa Rica and a river known to have hungry reptiles in it. What did you think was gonna happen?
Well, maybe he thought that today there were going to be no crocodiles.
Apparently, he did.
Yeah, so
Fuck
witnesses were left horrified when the crocodile attacked Lopez Ortiz and dragged him underwater. Police are unsure if the man died from drowning or injuries sustained from crocodile bites.
You
Porque
do not
no
like
los dos.
You do not like crocodiles and alligators. They kill you the same way. You do not want to die the way that they kill you, because what they do is they get a hold on. They bite you. They get a hold on you. They wrap their arms and legs around you where they can, and they spin. They spin and they spin and they spin to disorient and tire you, right? And then when you're tired and disoriented, they swim underwater with you. They find a little crevice that they've already got staked out. You know, maybe they do some more spinning if you're fucking still alive. And chances are, here's the fucked up part. Chances are, before they get to that crevice, you're still alive. You're just fucking out of it and on your way out. And then when they get to the crevice, they stuff you up there so you can rot a little and get good. And that's how you die. And that's where you die. You do not want to fuck with crocodiles or alligators.
A video of the gruesome attack was posted online showing the crocodile swimming in the river with Lopez Ortiz's body still clenched in its jaws.
Jesus.
And then there's another showing the crocodile being shot at.
Hey, it's not the crocodile's fault.
Yeah.
Hey, old lady, you know I was a crocodile.
Yeah, exactly. The fuck did you expect it to do?
But yeah, eventually the crocodile got shot and killed by the police to recover the remains. And then they also, the soccer team said that please respect the family's pain and do not upload videos of what happened. And if you have uploaded them, please take them down, as there are children, a mother, a father, brothers, and Jesus' wife who deserve respect.
Yeah, that shit's nonsense. Welcome to 2023. You're not special. You don't get special treatment.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of the videos made it onto Adonis Paul's Rumble streams.
I can see that happen.
But yeah, there was a funeral procession for him that was held on Wednesday, attended by over 1,000 people. And they end by saying, today we say goodbye to you, Chucho. And here's the video of the funeral. But yeah, he was a midfielder who played in the 3rd division of Costa Rica's National Amateur Soccer League. And well, this was in Ohio, the 7-foot crocodile, but you get it. You get it. You need to be careful when you are in a place known for crocodiles attacks.
The thing is, when you know there are crocodiles, the last place you want to be in is like the shore of the river, because that's where they hunt mostly. Because that's what their mouth is designed to do. It's designed to grab animals that like put their head down to drink from the river, you know. So I guess they might attack you. Yeah, it's like a bear trap. That's how they use it. Like they beat your neck and like drag you down to the water.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's so dangerous to go golfing in Florida, because the gators, they hide in the water traps, and then you go get your golf ball and then snap, just like in Happy Gilmore. All right, so that's it for tonight. So what's going on with you, Midnight? What you got planned?
I just have a bunch of shit going on for work this week. I have an early day tomorrow. We're gonna do the 2nd hour of Europa That Last Battle on Thursday night on Rumble.
Good.
Hopefully,
So
hopefully it's working by then.
so far, I didn't see any reason that, like, none of the content that we saw struck me as controversial. None of it struck me as hyperbolic, and none of it struck me.
Nothing that we say is really that controversial or that.
Yeah.
It's just they're
like,
fucking hysterical.
You could say that some of the associations that they asserted are a stretch, but so far I'm not seeing a strong argument for that.
Mm-hmm. And you were and most people probably expect that we would come out of the movie foaming at the mouth saying, "Jews, Jews, kill the Jews!" But my perspective is, I just kind of feel like it's a given. Kind of like when you see a shifty looking melanated person walking through your neighborhood.
Wait. Wait, which part is a given? I think you took a leap there from a paving stone we didn't know you were standing on.
Jews, like the Jews doing what they did in like the things the Jews were doing in the documentary, like being the whole Bolsheviks and that.
So subverting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Like Jews during their subversion and seeing that shifty dark melanated guy, heavily melanated individual in your neighborhood just walking around peeking into windows.
Or it's maybe a given. Jogging. You guys remember when they were called
the jogger.
Joggers. Then COVID happened and everybody seemed to forget about that. But I really like the word jogger. I don't know. So I thought it had potential.
Jogger's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my current takeaway of what we saw of Europa was. Jews doing Jew things. Nothing special.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, everyone say goodbyes. Bye.
Adios.
Have a nice night.